guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we are sharing with you some Royal Caribbean Oasis of the Seas ship tips.
Yeah, this was a great ship and we had an amazing time on this ship. Not our first time on Royal Caribbean, but our first time on the Oasis of the Seas. And we learned some things that we wish we'd known before. So we're going to share those with you today. First thing is that this is a huge ship with tons of passengers, so you do need to make your show reservations early. As soon as you can, go on and reserve tickets for Cats and the Aqua Theater because they do run out of tickets and not everybody gets to go. We did meet some people who did not get to go and they weren't too happy about that.
Yeah, they were bemoaning that they didn't know that you had to book shows as soon as you could get into the app or have access to booking them online. As soon as you can get into it, do it, book it, because they do sell out. I mean, there's only so many seats in these theaters, so make sure that you book it because they are not going to let you in if you do not have that on your app.
Okay, so the next thing is that they do have a restaurant, which is a specialty restaurant at night, but in the morning, Johnny Rockets is free. Breakfast is free. You can go there and eat at Johnny Rockets and get their food, try that out at breakfast. You won't have to pay anything.
Exactly. It is nice that it offers yet another area that you can go have breakfast in, so you don't end up always having to go to either the main dining room or to the buffet.
Yeah, I would say to check the times though. We had a couple times where we almost missed it because the time on the ship was changing and the time of the restaurant was changing too. So check what time they're open for the next day that you're thinking about doing it.
Yeah.
There is another tip we have that concerns the rooms, and there's a few different sections of the ship, the loudest of which is definitely the boardwalk. And the rooms overlooking the boardwalk, the balcony rooms overlooking the boardwalk, it was very loud. I would not have wanted to have been in those rooms, I don't think.
Yes, a couple of times we were in the corridors up above, in the hallways, in the corridors, on the other side of the doors for these balcony rooms, and we could hear the music from the boardwalk on the other side. So imagine that that was pretty loud in the rooms as well. If you're in the Central Park area, it's going to be way quieter.
Yeah.
So if you're looking at one of those inside balcony rooms, I would lean more towards the Central Park. If you want it quiet, if you want to hear a party all the time, then by golly, get the ones over by the boardwalk.
Yeah, this is definitely, part of the ship is definitely a party ship. There are areas of the ship that are a big party area, and then there's areas of the ship that are quite a bit more quiet, which I like. You have your choice. Just know what you're getting into. The boardwalk is the loud area. Next one is that the soda package is self-serve in a cup. And there's a few things about the soda package. The first thing was you can't just buy like a card and use it. There's a lot of people, they have self-serve machines all over the ship, and people just try to walk up and use a regular cup. They won't work. You have to have a special cup that you've bought. And so just know that. But then secondly is that the soda package really isn't worth it unless you're buying a lot of soda, because you can buy them individually. You know, unless you're drinking quite a few sodas a day, you're probably better off just buying them individually, even though that's more of a hassle. And we did kind of think that on the very first day, we usually buy a Coke, a cola type drink, and they didn't have them at the the bar where they were selling them. And it was like, it's the first day. You don't have Coke. So it kind of was like they were pushing you to go to the soda machine, because they were like, oh, well, if you get the soda package, you can just go get it over there. I was like, well, I don't want to spend a week's worth of soda package just to get one Coke. So we waited till they got the Cokes in and didn't do it. So watch out for that.
Stood firm.
Stood firm. Yeah, you don't want to be paying extra money. Another one is that the gym is accessible from the jogging track.
Which is perfect, because if you don't want to walk on the treadmill, which I usually have a hard time walking on the treadmill on the ship, Like if we're at sea, sometimes it can be a little bit wavy and it's hard to walk on it and keep your balance, but you can go right from the gym to the walking track or from the walking track right on up to the gym. There's a door and it takes you right up the stairs and you're right in the middle of a great gym.
The internet on this ship is very good. It's quite fast. It is Starlink, and it can be shared, and a hotspot can be used. So we'll explain this a little bit. I have an Android phone. She has an Apple phone. If one of you has an Android phone, we have the Pixel 6 Pro, and we haven't tested it with every Android phone, but a lot of Android phones will do this. You can put your hotspot on even when you're in airplane mode. So you can test that at home on your home Wi-Fi, see if that'll work. And if you can do that, then anyone in your room or that's near you can join on the internet. So we just buy the one internet package, the fastest one. We put it on my phone, and then you can share that as a hotspot. She can get on, we can get on our computers. We were on 3 or 4 devices at once, just on the hotspot of the phone. Works totally fine. So
yeah, and I mean the caveat obviously is that if you want to use the internet, you have to be close to the person that has the hotspot, because if you go away from the hotspot, then obviously you're not going to have the internet. So that's the only caveat there, is to use the internet. If you're using the hotspot idea, you have to kind of be together, but we're basically always together, so it didn't matter.
Yeah, it didn't really matter. And it's not that big a deal, but it's a huge money savings for what they charge for internet on these ships, which is sometimes frankly a little outrageous. Another tip is that the My Time dining did not start till 6:45 p.m.
Yes, which is fine for most people, but I like a little bit more flexibility of it being earlier so that you have more time in the evening. On the ships, I usually like to eat a little bit earlier. We usually shoot for about 6, but 6:45 was the earliest that they had for this My Time dining.
So at 6:45, we were like right there.
We were like, okay, we're ready. We have other things to do.
Ready to go. Just like with the shows, the Soar excursions is the same deal. They are going to sell out. A lot of times on a ship they won't, but on this one they will.
Yes, well, that's one of the bad things of having so many passengers on a ship, is the odds of them filling the spots on those shore excursions is going to be pretty high. So they are, people are booking excursions because I feel like I encountered a lot of people that were on a cruise for the first time ever on this ship for some reason. Maybe because it was a shorter cruise that we were on, it was only 4 days. But a lot of times when people are on, their first cruise, they do a lot of shore excursions from the ship just to, just for that peace of mind and stuff for when they're traveling. So I think definitely book it in advance. If this is your first time and you're planning it out, make sure you book it, because it will sell out. You cannot decide once you get on the ship.
Okay, the front of the ship is without a doubt the quietest part, and that's where our cabin was. We kind of lucked out that we decided to put it up there. We usually do book cabins in the front of the ship because on almost every ship that is going to be the quietest part. So it definitely was true on this ship. It was very quiet. When you got in our hallway by a room, you couldn't hear anything. Really.
It was so quiet. It was really nice. We had a nice room on this ship.
But when we walked to the back, it was not.
It was a party.
It was not quiet.
Yeah, as soon as you got real close to the back of that ship, especially because we were on the same deck as the boardwalk. So when you got back there as part of the boardwalk, whenever you got close to the back, you could hear it.
Another thing to keep in mind as a tip is that the casino is not really non-smoking.
So they have it divided up.
Yeah.
One entrance says smoking, one entrance says not smoking. So you're like, oh, cool. Okay, they have a smoking and a non-smoking. You walk in, and one on each side, and when you get inside, there's nothing dividing in the middle, so it's still just one big room. So there's less smoke on one side, more smoke on the other. So
it's kind of like if you remember in the 80s when they had the smoking and non-smoking restaurants, and it was like, how is this even working? it's kind of like that.
Yes.
So those are some of our tips for the Oasis of the Seas. It is a magnificent ship. We had a great time on this ship. We do have other videos, ship tours, balcony tours, what we loved about this ship. So check those out if you're going to be cruising on this ship anytime soon.
Yeah, guys, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Any questions, leave those down in the comments. We'll see you next time.